Good morning. I have a question for you. When do we know that we are done talking about this medical experiment? That's right. Now, my girlfriend and I, we talked about this yesterday. So what needs to happen so that we would know that we can move on? We are done with this. We can talk about something else. I think it's good to have a very clear target that we are going for. So that's what we talked about. And we had different suggestions. What's your suggestion? One of them was this: Bill Gates is arrested. Well, that's good. That would be the one, right? But will it happen? What do you think? I believe there is a chance. Very, very small chance. I don't think it will happen, you see. Another suggestion was that public service news here in Sweden tell the truth about this medical experiment. And that's true. If they did, that would be the end. Because then even our politicians would know, and they would talk about it, So that would be perfect, but I don't think it will happen, see. Today they are not willing to talk about excess death at all, because they understand that people would get ideas, see. So they don't talk about it. Another suggestion was this: when 70% of the population knows that it was a hoax, but how do we know? There's no way to check, right? Then we came up with the perfect one. It's when my oldest son's mother-in-law calls her daughter. And she says, "Daughter, I'm so happy that you're a pureblood. I want to thank you for being a pureblood and keeping your kids purebloods. I'm so grateful for this. You were right. I was wrong." When this happens, then we would know. And when it happens, I will tell you about it. Because this is very possible, actually. Right now, it's not. It looks like very, very far away, at least. But it can happen, and I think there's a big chance that it could happen in the future. Right. So we also talked about time. How long do we have to wait for this? And we both agree that it's pretty soon, because things are moving along so fast now. So it's going to happen, and we can celebrate. People who defend the medical experiment today, I used to get very, very annoyed by this, but now I'm starting to become fascinated by this. I was watching one of them this morning. It was this jerk, he was on a link, it was GB News, UK, right? It was this jerk, and it was Andrew Bridgen, and they were discussing this, excess death. And this guy's job was to explain why people are dying now, more people are dying in the UK. It was sort of fascinating to watch him, listening to this guy. It was a bit like when you watch these videos, with the guy with the chainsaw, and he's about to cut down a tree, and something bad will happen. You don't know what, but you wonder about it. You think maybe the tree will fall on this car that is parked over there, maybe on the house, or maybe even on him, you see? And you're waiting for the result, right? It's a bit like this, I think. Watching these guys defending the medical experiment today, it's a bit like they are committing suicide right now, see? Because we know something bad is going to happen, and we will have the documentation. They are doing it to themselves. We see it already, right? We see all these jerks who said these crazy stuff over these last few years. like Piers Morgan, Arnold Schwarzenegger, all these guys. And we have the documentation, right? Fauci, you know. So they are doing it to themselves, and it's a bit fascinating to see this. Right, well, there's so much going on. I'll just give you 2 examples. This was Mainstream Media Australia. I'll post a link to this. They said cardiac arrests are at the highest ever recorded in Victoria. And the health officials, they are now launching a campaign. Wow. It's called a Critical Awareness Campaign. And there were 2 ladies there. I'll post a link. Yeah, it was 2 ladies, paramedic ladies, talking into the camera. And they had red ribbons, both of them, in their hair. I always like it when I see ladies with red ribbons. It's great. Looks nice, you know. And they were discussing this. Nobody mentioned the tea, of course not. But they confirmed, yes, people are getting these cardiac arrests, you see. And the other one, the last one is this. Pfizer and Moderna shares are down this year, 35 and 49%. That's too bad. Also, you know, the other ones, those who make the tests, these centers you go to, right? It's bad business for them now. Yeah, I talked about this a few days ago, I think. There was this scent chain here in Sweden that went bankrupt. So that's very sad, isn't it? Alright, that's all. Be good.